All right. Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well. So good to see you. Thanks for getting up a little bit earlier or watching this a little bit earlier in the evening. I had an event today that I had to go to, so we're starting the weekend off a little bit earlier, and that's going to be great because I already started to receive messages, and we're right on the precipice, I believe, of a new moon. I'm going to be doing an impromptu tomorrow, so we'll have more of a chance to talk about that then. I'll be doing that in the evening, so you can check my main YouTube channel for more information. But I'd just like to say hello. First of all, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This little sleepyhead here is Apollo. And today I'm going to be looking at the next 7 days. So we're in a weekly collective reading. This is the format. You can see it right here. I like to begin with channeled messages. And then I go straight into the 7-day forecast. After that, we'll take a look at blessings and blocks. And then I look at an elemental breakdown, and that elemental breakdown is the only portion that's going to be sign specific. Everything else is going to be set up for everyone that's present. Apollo just woke up. After that, we're going to take a look at viewer's choice and reader's choice. And then the special topic today is the 7th chakra, something that you have been kind of like putting in second place for quite a while. So I'm looking forward to seeing what messages come through. I think it's a really great time, too, to look at this because we're right on this precipice of getting out of retrograde. We can start to set into motion some new things, and let's open up to receive that higher guidance. So I'm going to put a little sleepyhead down here so that we can get started, and then we'll begin. Good job, buddy. All right. Of course, that always means it's time to dig in his bed when I put him behind me. Again, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is a weekly collective. Everybody's welcome. Messages are for all that are present in the room. And we're going to begin with channeled messages in just a moment here. Before I get started, a couple of quick notes. If you want to get reminders of when I go live, usually I'm always at 9 a.m. Pacific, today a little bit earlier. A great way to make sure that you don't miss something is to join me on social media. So all of my links are right here. I'll also put a link once I get through the channel messages in chat, so you have that as well. You can also, of course, subscribe and opt into the bell notifications so you don't miss out, again, if I change anything, because sometimes I have to shift the schedule around. So that's a great way to stay in touch. By the way, the word subscribe is often misleading. It does not mean that you are signing up for anything. It's the same as follow on any other major platform. So when you hit subscribe, it's just follow. So if you like what you see here, please do give me a follow. I've noticed that seasonally there's sometimes ebbs and flows, and I'd love to see it kind of go in the up position. So please help me out there. It helps me do more and helps me launch things like my podcast a little bit sooner than later. For all my scheduling information, you can go to my website. And if you want to show some support here, you can do that by clicking on this little icon, the dollar sign right by the emojis. And that's a way to either give a super sticker or super chat, or you can join and become a member. All right, let's go ahead now. I'm going to set up our presentation here for the Spirit Totem, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's coming through today for you. I was shown something that, reminds me of being a kid. When I was a kid, my dad would often give me the duty around Christmas time of fixing the old broken lights. And when I was a kid, there was something called like series bulbs, where or series sets where if one light went out, they all went out. Some of you may remember this. That no longer is an issue, and we have like LEDs and things are much better now. But 10, 15, 20 years ago, that was not the case. And so yeah, some old-fashioned circuitry would require everything to work. And that's kind of where we're going from today, because I was playing around with wires and bulbs, and I could see that there was still the capacity for electricity to flow, but there were blocks in the system. I think it's really cool that we're doing this while we're looking at the 7th chakra, because in order for this to be open, we got to clear out some of the other ones. And when we look at the cards today, it's going to be important for us to kind of figure out where the blocks may be. All right. So let's go into the next message here. So a series is basically a bunch of bulbs where one depends on the one before it, okay? That all or nothing mentality isn't really sustainable when we look at everyday life, though. If everything has to work all the time for everything to be okay, that would mean like every person in a team has to be functioning at 100%. If someone functions less than 100, it falls apart. So I didn't even put this in here, but the word that would help is redundancy, having a backup plan. So I would really encourage you right now to think about adding in levels of redundancy in your life. Financial redundancy, Also areas where, and it's interesting because when I spent some time in Europe, I know being made redundant is a different sort of thing. This is not that. Backup, we'll use another word. So having a backup or a safety net is going to be really important, because then that way you have something to fall back on, okay? Also, I believe this is a symbol and an encouragement from Spirit for you to move beyond any codependent energies in your life. It could be a person, it could be a habit, it could be a place that you're working, and basically going into a place where you can really reach your highest capacity, because these are limiting sort of series. And I'm sure you've all been in a situation where one person's energy can bring down the sort of energy of the group. So if that happens, all you can do is do your best, but sometimes that's an indication of a broken series. And then you have to look and see, what are people doing to fix that? Or can you create something like we see in everyday lights, where if one of these lights went off, you could still see me, because the whole room doesn't depend on every single thing working. So that's what I mean by sort of a backup or a redundancy. What's also really cool to think about is how energy runs through our body. So the fact that I'm kind of sitting here and ranting about electricity is not accidental. It's actually quite intentional. Our heart, our brains, our nervous system, the chakra as well, all the different chakra systems, they're all electrical. And there are certain things in our body that get electrical charges. Like, I don't know if it's like sodium and things like that. But anyway, there are things that actually receive a charge and are necessary to kind of like move things around and move us around. I'm not a biologist, but I do remember this much from biology. We're a mixture of that organic and electrical matter. And so the energy is super important. And the more that we start to study and understand that, the better we're going to be at things. Imagine that instead of talking about energy, we're talking about an update. We all have to update or upgrade our phones, our computers, sometimes even our cars, because they all run on chips and software now. And whenever an upgrade is underway, it takes time. Maybe it'll take 5 minutes, maybe 1 minute, but there has to be a download. Then it has to be compiled and run, and then it takes a reboot, right? So you may find yourself in this period in time, especially over the next 7 days, because that's how this part works, in some process of that, getting information, processing it, trying to upgrade, and to also like accept that maybe I have to do something different now. In a software, for instance, sometimes they move things from one menu to another, or there's a right click or some other function now that you have to learn. So accepting the new system, accepting the new energy, or applying the upgrade takes time. Things can get lost in translation as you're going through these sort of energetic upgrades and cognitive upgrades. So one thing that was in a previous slide, let me go back a second. If we look at this one, a power surge or a lightning strike can often cause wiring to fry, and then you have to rewire it or things won't work. In our lives and in our bodies, we can have a paradigm shift. This could be exceedingly good news, like you won the lotto, you met the love of your life, something good. It can also mean that you lost someone, that you're dealing with an illness, that someone disappointed you. Sometimes it's such an intense emotional trigger that it fries the sort of connection that you had with that person or that you have with that experience. You're going to have to rebuild. Pretending that the old works doesn't work. That's also basically you just pretending to yourself. So you're going to be an electrician this month, basically, a metaphysical electrician, and you're going to go through and you're going to rewire intuitively. I'm going to take this cord out, the cording that we have between people. I'm going to plug this one in. I'm going to try doing this instead here, and I'm going to take information from this and apply it here. So you're like an old switchboard operator. You're like an electrical sort of engineer. And I want you to kind of geek out on thinking like, I can do this. I can take all my skills and figure it out. You're going to have to roll up your sleeves and do that on your own, though. Only you can do that, okay? As you're moving through a new energetic system, things can get lost in translation. Other people may not realize or understand the new language that you are speaking or the new sort of system that you're using. And this could also be because you're much more positive than before, or because maybe you're bolder and you're just going to say what's wrong, and they don't want to kind of deal with that. This happens a lot in corporations, by the way, right? They just turn a blind eye towards the problem. There might be a morale issue. There may be a financial issue. There could be issues with also social culture, the mistreatment of people, gender inequalities, etc., etc. And they think and they hope that if they just don't watch, or if they just don't pay attention to it, that somehow it's going to magically fix itself. Families have the same problem. Circles of friends have the same problem. Ignoring it is not a solution. Pretending it didn't happen is not a solution. There has to be a sort of open conversation. So you may have to be the translator. You may have to be that person. You may also realize this is a waste of my time, and you can put your energy somewhere else. It's all up to you, because as with all of my readings and with everything that I do, you have the free will. I'm just showing you this month that there's opportunities now to either rework or perhaps just completely go in a different direction. Okay, so there's definitely some energy of the Tower, the Moon, and the Magician coming through here. The Magician's been our constant friend through all the readings that I did for the month of February. So not surprised that energy is coming through again. Clear up the emotional baggage. So whenever I'm shown a messy house, it's not about cleaning, although that's actually a really great thing to do energetically. So if it's been a while, clean your house. But when I see a house that's messy, invariably to me, it basically is a figurative sort of thing. If we leave an emotional mess around our heart, around our head, around our life, people are going to walk on eggshells, like broken glass, like that old Annie Lennox song, like walking on broken glass. And it's just sort of like, how can you keep up with that, right? We have to be able to clean it up and deal with it and stare it in the eye. And that's the Moon card. Facing your fears, facing your hopes, facing the reality, not being afraid. This is what leads to healing, not pretending. And so this next week ahead, and probably even the next month, because we're starting a new month here in about 2 days, it's really about getting real and starting with the cleanest possible slate, right? And I think that that's the biggest lesson that we can kind of glean from all of this stuff. So let me see, I think we're on the final slide here. No, there's one more. So the final slide here is to remember that this isn't a time to sink, it's a time to swim. So there's a really cool card in the, what is this? The Light Seers deck, where we look at the Moon card and there's this choice. I'll see if I can pull it up. There's a choice between sinking or swimming. And I kind of like that metaphor. And when we face what's possible, when we kind of look at the possibilities, we can't help but to swim. And the cream always rises, right? So see yourself as the cream of the crop. See yourself as being able to get to that higher space, and know that you're going to be able to succeed. It's the one card I can't see as I'm going through all of this. So here we go. It was worth the look. All right, so this is the card that I was talking about. So we see her being overwhelmed with possibilities, but the Moon is there trying to bring her to the higher space. And I think this is a really great sort of energy here to ask for help, come up for air, look to others and see how they have done it. You are not alone in this at all right? And instead of worrying about the risk of what if I fail, what if you succeed? What if it's easier than you thought? What if talking about something is going to help you really get into that place of healing? So some deep symbols and energy coming through. We had one singular totem today, which was really just the idea of electrical wiring. But what a powerful sort of metaphor that was, right? Let me take a quick moment before we get into the Celtic cross, or I'm sorry, the 7-day forecast here, to just go ahead and give you some links in case you want to take a look at what's going on. Probably later today, I'll make sure that I announce the upcoming dates on social media. And it's been a while since I sent out a newsletter, so probably Monday or Tuesday, I'll try to do that as well. But there you go. There's some links to my website in case you want to learn a little bit about who I am or what I'm doing. Again, I would love for you to give me a like and follow as well. If you can do that, it helps more than you might imagine. All right, we're going to be moving on to the 7-day forecast here. Let me go ahead and just get back to my main screen. And I usually like to stick with one general deck for this. I've been doing the Afro Goddess for a while, but the fact that I just went through the Light Seers deck, I think I'm going to use this today because it just resonates with me. So we'll start with the Light Seers, and then when I get into the Celtic Cross, I'll probably give you some options on what to choose, but let's get started, all right? This is going to go from today, Sunday, to next Sunday, and the dates are in the the description above, but I think it's like, what are we at? The 30th to the 6th of January, of February. So January 30th to February 6th. All right, let me turn the camera down and let's get started. Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining a little bit earlier. It's good to have you today. I'll be back to my normal scheduling once we kick off the new month on Thursday with Aries. I'll be doing an impromptu reading tomorrow at, I forget what time, I think it's 5 or 6 p.m. So take a look on my main page and set a reminder for that as well. The impromptu may have something to do with the new moon, since that's coming through. I kind of let that energy take me wherever I want to go. Again, back on topic, 7-day forecast, Sunday to Sunday. Let's see what's coming through, everyone. Judgment. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll look at next weekend, Saturday, and Sunday. All right, so let's get started. Pretty good spread overall. Today's going to be a very important day for everybody with the Judgment card kicking things off. So let's begin with that. So the message for today is Judgment. What's really cool with this one is the ability to sort of have this rebirthing moment. This is one of my favorite Judgment cards as well. This whole deck is amazing because it was aptly named. There's a lot of positivity and light in it. But it's not afraid to show some of the trickier stuff too. So with the Judgment card, what we're looking at here is somebody who knows what they want to be, knows what they want to do, but may have this sort of momentary pause of believing and following through on that. If you can just embrace the way she's embracing this future you, then the sky is the limit. With Judgment, we get a fresh start, a second chance, an opportunity to begin anew. And as we're looking at Judgment for you, that's really what it's bringing through. But it does require this moment of release, belief, and also simply kind of like letting things go in the direction that they need to go. So you get a second chance, but you're going to have to let something go probably. And if you feel judged by others, or if you are judging yourself, or if you're judging others, just let the judgment go. It doesn't serve a purpose anymore. What can be done has been done. And in the case of the short circuit or the rewiring, which I was talking about, sometimes people just aren't ready for it. So you can't force the wiring or the circuitry. And it's also like for those of you that live in other countries and travel, you know that you can't put a plug in an outlet that doesn't take that sort of, voltage. So again, I feel like some of you are just deciding like, I need to move on. And moving on is the best thing. There's only growth and only movement. Whatever it is that you were holding on to, it's probably not worth your time and energy. And what awaits you is so much more satisfying and beneficial, okay? So I see you right on this precipice of something amazing, but there is this one last day of dealing with things. The good news is we're talking today, you're dealing with it today. It should be easy as you start to go through this. So just push through Sunday, and I think you have a really great week ahead of you. All right, let's begin with the first day of the week, Monday. As we look at Monday, we have the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man gets a bad rap because at its core, it's actually an opportunity for you to move to a better space. You have to pause first. So the main pause and the thing that you can do to get past that pause is the internal acceptance that comes through with the Judgment card, okay? So if you can just say, I'm ready for this and I accept it, and what may be, then you could probably skip forward and get some of this energy. But Monday is you pausing one last time to make sure that you're in the absolute best place and everything's okay, and it's an acceptance day. This is the realization internally. This is the day of the upgrade coming through. So you've received the download on Sunday, the upgrade is happening here, and then you actually can use it on Tuesday. Other things to think about with Monday. I do think it's okay for you to take a time out if you have been working way too hard, just burning the midnight oil, candle at both ends, whatever metaphor you want to use. This card is saying, take care of yourself. Just take a pause. If you are stuck in a particular situation, overthinking something, you can't get the solution that you need. This is saying, sleep is actually really, really beneficial. I forget which study I read this in, but there was a study that if you took breaks and tried to even kind of like set your intention for sleep around whatever problem you had, all of a sudden, like you would have epiphanies, brainstorms, really fruitful energy the following day because you had a little bit of a rest. Today, I feel better than I did yesterday because I had a lot of just work and other things that I was doing, and then social obligations yesterday, and I was ragged. I was tired, and I was like, I better get some sleep. So I made sure I got my sleep so I could be there for you and also feel better today. And I can't tell you what a difference it is to get a good night's sleep versus not. It's the difference between being patient and being completely scattered in thoughts. So by all means, give yourself the time and the energy to just pause and brainstorm. I love that we see the beautiful nimbus or a halo around her head here, because per the mythology of this card, the pause brings ideation, brings something fruitful. So my message for you for Monday is you're right on time. You're tracking exactly where you need to be. Take some time to just see what other thoughts come through and relax a little bit. Tuesday's so far the best day because you're going to be able to make things happen, bring things into action. So we have Ace of Swords for Tuesday, and she's saying, oh my goodness, I have all of these ideas coming through. And I love that the staircase also kind of looks like, what is that, like a ram horn? So Aries, maybe out there, you're going to have a really great day as well. But for many of us, I feel like Tuesday rather is going to be a day where you're able to take the brainstorm from Monday, to also take this sort of dream that some of you have and bring it into fruition. This is the day where you start to pick up the phone, make an important meeting, you just basically get your hands dirty and get things moving. So you're really going to start to feel some progress happening. If you are incapable, unready, or still a little bit on things, I want you to write stuff out. This is a good day for planning because we see the download still kind of like you need to somehow, putting that on paper is action. Writing is action. Speaking is action. So writing and speaking, very swords-oriented activities would be great things to do on Tuesday, okay? You can do the planning here, but then really bring it more into the physical plane. So by saying it, writing it, and then ultimately doing it, you're on the right path. This is the best day, Wednesday, for people-oriented activities. So what we're seeing here with the Six of Cups in reverse is you actually may have people coming to you and saying, I miss you, I'd like to hang out, or what do you think of this? Or there could be some connections like that. If you're trying to also shop an idea around, this is a great time to do it. You need to kind of, what is the best word, like grease the wheels or, oil things up a bit before you kind of go straight into it, because the Six of Cups is a card of being familiar and friendly. But if you haven't talked to someone in a while, you can't just expect that to be okay. Have you ever been in a friend situation where, let's say maybe like you've gone away to college and then come back? I'm sure some of you have had that when you were first going to school or something, and then it just feels weird, like you don't have the same vibe that you had. Or maybe you've lived in a different country for a while or lived on the other side of the world and it's been a couple years. Hey, with COVID, I felt this too. For first time meeting someone that you haven't seen after a while, it's gonna be awkward. It's okay. We're all going through that because we have wired ourselves differently. So the disappointment and frustration and weirdness of reconnecting should get better with each meeting that you have. And what you should try to do at the beginning is really get to know the person and say, what's been going on in your life? How are you feeling? What's going on with you? If you do that and then get to whatever it is you want to do, it's going to be much better. So in business, make sure that you check in with the emotional side of them first. In family, the same thing is true. The good news is we may have changed, but we're still that inner child, that inner puppy here that we see with this. So it's basically just getting reacquainted. So you have an opportunity to work with people and make something great happen, but the reacquaintance and that sort of reintroduction of who one another is, that's going to be so important, and also kind of accepting the fact that you've changed. Maybe those old connections won't feel as good as they used to. That's how it goes sometimes. You get a chance to decide, do I want to invest in this or do I not? And if the other person doesn't want to invest, it frees you up to use your resources wisely, which is a wonderful segue into the next card. As we go into Thursday, we have independence, we have sustainability, we have money and resources. But for some of you, you may wonder, like, can I do this on my own? And there's a little bit of self-doubt coming through. And the interesting thing is, with the Nine of Pentacles, the answer is invariably yes, you can do this. Let's get a closer look at the card. So Nine of Pentacles, one of my favorite cards, is showing that you've reaped the rewards and you've learned the lessons from the past, and you're really capable of much more than maybe you or others give yourself credit for, right? And I would say, with this card in reverse, the only thing that could happen is, because of the fierce independence, you could be thinking, oh my goodness, this is, so much, this is so important for me, I should say, for me to keep my independence and to keep control over the situation, that I don't want to ask for help. If I ask for help, that may mean that other people see me as weak. It's not weak to ask for insight, to ask for help, to check in. So don't be afraid if you need it to ask for it, because that'll actually bring you probably to the 10 of Pentacles, okay? I saw a question about what this is about. I mentioned earlier, the only portion that is sign specific is the elemental forecast. Everything else is for everybody here. That's what the word collective means, so welcome if you just joined. All right, so into that sort of collective energy, I would say tap into the group around you on Thursday. You'll be surprised. There's more resources to find, okay? Friday looks amazing. Friday looks fun, dare I say. It might be too early to go out that far and say that, but we do have the King of Cups here. And that's a really powerful and emotionally available card. And after the sort of energy of Judgment and the Moon, and then kind of working on getting things started and working with other people, it's nice to have some fun, isn't it? Let's look at the card close up. So we have what looks like a little picnic here, and it's an offering. There could be a peace offering, there could be a love offering, there could be even something on the level of work, someone's offering you an opportunity. The reason they're doing any of these things is they like you. And the key to opening a door is to vibe energetically with someone. So if you do have an interview, for instance, this is a good day to kind of schedule that interview, by the way, but the key to success this week would be warming up to the other person, getting to know them. Like I said, here's establishing some sort of a sense of trust and familiarity with them, and then it's going to be good. You should say yes to an invitation. You should have some fun. There could be love or friendship or something fun topping off the week. We also see that little card at the bottom by the picnic and the wine and all of that stuff. So I think that there could be some good news incoming. We see the wild steed in the background. So you should maybe not edit yourself as much when it comes to showing the playful side. Definitely we always need to be on guard sometimes when just letting things kind of flow through. But I think if you want to have fun and let loose, Friday is the day to do that. The energy is looking really good. Creatively speaking, I like what I see with that card as well. All right, let's go ahead now and move into what we're looking at next weekend. So it actually looks like Saturday rather, with the Hierophant here, is a little bit more predictable. The Hierophant card is setting into motion some schedules, some structures, but there could be part of you that's either wishing that you had more freedom, wanting to kind of be a little bit rebellious. And I think you're going to have to walk the line between how far you can push something and also like where your happiness is. So there may be some limits, there may be some comfort levels with people around you. A lot of times this can be a parent, boss, or even like a culture around you that just isn't supportive of the change. So sometimes just a little millimeter of change is still change in and of itself. So whatever you can get, take it, and then move forward from there. It's one step at a time. I like what we see next Sunday, a week from now. We have honesty, openness, action, really quick action actually with the Queen of Swords in reverse. So let's take a look at her. One thing you want to always be mindful of with this is to keep it constructive and keep it kind. I love the Queen of Swords though. She gets a bad rap when she's in reverse. In reverse, it can just be get to the point, get in and out of something, and get it done as quickly as possible. So don't sort of linger, is what I would say, on any activities a week from now. And leading up until then, the more work and the more preparation you can do prior to next Sunday, it's going to just ensure that the next week is swimmingly easy. So clean up the messes, ask for help, push forward, do the rewiring. I actually saw a lot of what we talked about in everything that we saw here. Overall, I'm happy with what comes through in this spread. And I think the main thing to focus on for you is with today, just trusting, accepting, and diving into that new you. He or she is already ready to come out. So let that sort of happen if you're ready. Okay. Such a beautiful deck. It's nice to kind of change things up, and really great images that came through with it as well. All right. So that is the first portion. I'll probably move to a different deck here for the elemental portion. So just a quick check-in for those of you that are brand new and just joined, in case you didn't get the time change here. We just went through channel messages in the 7-day forecast. So we're going to move on to blessings and blocks first, and then I'll do the elemental. So let me take a quick look at what I'm going to use for blessings and blocks, and then we'll go into the elemental. All right, I'm going to go over here and use an old deck. So 1 second, or a different deck. All right, I don't use this one as much anymore. I'm going to use the Wild Unknown for blessings and blocks, just to change things up. I stopped using this because it bothers me with the swords and wands in this deck are a little bit off. It's sometimes hard to see which is which, but I feel called to kind of look at the animal totems on this one. So let's see what's coming through. Blessings and blocks, by the way, are just like they sound. It's an opportunity to look at one really great thing and one thing that you might want to rethink or reimagine here. Blessing and block. Okay, so let's take a look at both of these and talk about what's coming through. So we're going to begin with the blessing card here. We have the 4 of Wands, and I really like this one. The card is reversed, but what we see here, it's basically looking like a big iris in the center, right? And it's almost like what you're able to see and create is what you're going to be able to actually manifest, something I say a lot. So the 4 of Wands, it really doesn't matter if it's upright or reversed in this particular deck, as you can see. It kind of matches my shirt. What it's saying for us is if you hold space, if you build it, they will come. Because with the 4 of Wands, basically, you would normally see 4 wands, and sometimes there's space for 2 people. Sometimes you see the 2 people dancing or getting married or holding hands in the center. It shows a potential union. And when we see the openness here, it shows something that's incoming. So I think for you this week ahead, the big blessing for you is to, sorry, not channel messages, with the blessings and blocks. The big opportunity for you is, what am I trying to open up? What am I holding space for? Even if it's not here, I need to keep the vision that it will be here. That's what this little iris in the center is saying. So keep your eye on the prize, build the foundations for something better to come into your life, and trust that that's actually what's going to come in, okay? So even when reversed, 4 of Swords is an indication that a good partnership, a good person, a good opportunity is en route, is on the horizon. Keep doing what you're doing and keep looking. Keep looking for it. I just see a big iris at the center. All right, the block this week could be patience. Could be that you really just want to get started and you put one foot out there before you're ready. I do like that we see this Temperance fanning the flames of change, which is cool. And it has a little bit of the energy of, I believe in this deck, Judgment is a phoenix. So we can see someone that's being patient, and eventually they're going to rise from that flame. We also see a combination of 2 elements here, water and fire. We see the bird crying a little bit. So for some of you, there is this message that if you've been through something difficult, the change, the healing, and the recovery, it's going to take some time. So don't let that block you. Don't let the pain block you. Don't let the frustration block you. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with others. And, remember what we were talking about earlier, that you've got so much to kind of focus on, that this kind of requires both parties being present and wanting to do it. So if the other person says, I don't want to invest, then you can just patiently move into a different direction and use your time and energy on something that's more deserving of it, frankly, right? So the blessing is you've set up a really firm foundation for a partnership, friendship, or opportunity. The block is healing takes time. You could be impatient with yourself or with others. So try to hold some healing, hold some space, and see where it leads you, okay? Great. So beautiful messages. I'm going to clear it up now so we can take a look at the elemental forecast. The elements, we're moving from 7 day to the elements. The elements are going to be a chance for us to look at fire, earth, air, and water in a little bit more detail. So let's do just that. For this portion, I'm going to use Afro Goddess. We're going to take a look and see what the elements are bringing through. Okay, so let me go ahead and just pull each card first, and then we'll break it down. And for those of you that said it started early, please turn on notifications and please follow me on social media. I did post about it and I did mention it in several readings. So that's a reason to hit that notification bar. Sorry to kind of belabor it, but that helps. And follow me on social media. All right, so we're going to look at this on fire, earth, air, and water. All right, let's break it down. We're going to start first with the message for all my fire signs out there. So Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, this is for you. And we have an interesting message here coming through with the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups normally can be a celebration. The celebration is a chance for you to kind of, the celebration here can just be an indication that it's important for you to take time to recognize and to basically set into motion something that you're really passionate about, something that you really care about, right? And sometimes every single day we are so busy in focusing on the minutia that we forget, like, hey, look at how far I've come. Look at what I've already been able to move through. This is impressive. This is worth celebrating. And then also celebrating the epiphanies that we get. I finally know what I want. This is worth celebrating as well. So take a moment every day through gratitude, through expressions of appreciation, through all the little things that you do to basically show that there's something to give thanks for. So that's this. Three of Cups in reverse can also be you saying, I really want to put myself out there, but I'm afraid. I feel like I may not fit in. I feel like the outsider. What if people don't appreciate me or see me as just being kind of like too out there? Three of Cups in reverse reminds you that clicks are not worth it, that sometimes internal fears can actually project and manifest. So what you want to do instead is just walk into that room and say, hi, my name is blah, 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 and this is what I want to talk about. Or check in with someone and just say, how are you doing today? And get that kind of connection that we also saw with the Six of Cups that was coming through. Build a new sort of foundation and don't worry about what people say. Life is too short. Of course, if you're in marketing or public relations, that's going to be a lot different. But generally speaking, it's so much more freeing to just be yourself. And if there are sort of a clique of people like this, or if there's a clique, then they're already kind of not interested in connecting. So you don't really want to be friends with like that overly exclusive clique. Go and reach out to some of the other people that are being left out by that. Form your own new open and welcoming sort of alliance and see what that might lead. You may have opportunities knocking, and for some reason, some of you are resistant to it. This is basically a hermit in disguise, the Three of Cups reversed. So as we're looking at the next week here for all of my fire signs, some of you might just be trying to figure out, how do I come out of my shell? I'm a little bit shy. I'm a little bit uncertain. What do I do, right? So I would say one step at a time. We talked a lot about this earlier, that people change over time. So I think if you just give yourself a chance to rediscover who you are and what you want, you're going to be A-okay. All right. So overall, I like what I'm seeing here. And again, this shows potential for new love, potential for new opportunities, new invitations, celebrations. But for some reason, you're a little bit standoffish. So moving past your discomfort, coming out of your shell could be important. There could be a clique, there could be a third party that tries to come in between you and someone that you care about. And in that case, you're going to have to figure out, based on what we're looking at with everything today, what you want to do with it. But basically, that third party doesn't have as much power as you think. So reclaim your power. That would be my main thing. And celebrate and open up. There are other people that are interested in connecting with you that seem to have your better interest at heart. So move towards that instead. All right, so that is for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Let's go ahead now and take a look at all my earth signs out there. So Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. By the way, for this portion, you can apply it to any aspect of your chart, Sun, Rising, Moon, Venus, okay? So big opportunity coming through for earth. For those of you that might have this in your ascendant, there could be a really big change in career. If it's in your, I was going to say Virgo because that's my, that's my love sort of area. If it's in your Venus or if it's in your moon, there could be some really big changes in your relationship status. If it's just in your sun, there could be a change of location. And if it's just anywhere in your chart, it's showing expansion, movement, growth. It's upright, it's positive. So I really like what I'm seeing for my earth signs out there. I think that you're going to have some really big shifts. And if you're like me and you have all three of these signs in your chart, it's going to be a big month for you. and really important changes are going to happen. For fun facts here, I'm Taurus moon, Virgo, Venus, and Capricorn ascendant. So that's where I would expect changes in all these areas. And they're going to be slightly different. Well, you'd have to take a look at your monthly read to sort of see how that's going to break down. But good things, good shifts and good movement. One thing that I would say with the World card upright, you could be using this as a chance for you to take a look at an opportunity in front of you and think, is this the same old, same old? So this would be maybe for those of you that are looking at business primarily. Does this help me grow or am I stagnating? Is it like a rerun? I just did this, for the past 5 years. If it's a rerun, you don't want to do it. If it's something that allows for growth, go for it. If there's a relationship in your life that's a little scary but has great opportunity, that growth potential is also pulling you towards it. The gravity is pulling you towards it. And in any sort of aspect of your life, if there's a chance to explore, expand, or to kind of reach a bigger audience, this card is saying, yes, do it. Movement, moving, expanding, reaching higher ground, all of that. So really great for Earth placements right now, okay? Let's go ahead and move from Earth to air. Air, of course, is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. You're going to get some great ideas. Write them down, get them started, share them with other people. You might have a new job opportunity on the horizon. You may want to hire someone. I feel like there's just a lot of opportunity. Opportunity is the big takeaway for all air signs. Also, vitality may be coming back to you. If you were feeling a little bit sad, a little bit depressed, a little bit less than you normally are, this is your chance to really sort of like recuperate and take that. And it reminds me of like a baton for those of you that used to run track and field. And you're going to take that baton and do your part and move forward. Okay. So I get this sort of energetic push or drive. And that's exciting. That's just as exciting as what I just saw with the expansion for those of you that were looking at the World card, right? So when we were looking at Earth. So for air here with the Ace of Wands, what are you going to do about the idea or the realization? That's the big question. So you have this idea. What are you going to do? You have this new energy. How are you going to focus it? You have an offer on your plate. What do you want to do about it? So there is a question or an opportunity and a chance for you to take action on that. And it's in your hands, right? Perfect. Overall, I really like this. Focusing on I would say also adding exercise in the sort of overall schedule is going to help you because it's going to continue to keep the endorphins going in the positive direction. Do what feels best to you. I'm not a doctor. You should always check with your doctor for that kind of stuff. But overall, great. Really good week overall, by the way, for everybody. We're getting out of retrograde soon, and you can see it in the cards. All right, let's take a look now at my water signs. This is going to be Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. All right, you get a chance to let go. You do not have to do everything that you used to do. You have a chance now to move down the sort of easy side of the hill. So normally with the 10 of Wands, we see someone climbing up the hill, and a lot of times they're feeling like the weight of everything. It can be the figurative weight. Oh my gosh, this person's driving me crazy. Oh my goodness, the stress is too much. Also it could just be sort of feeling like I'm just overwhelmed, because sometimes we're going through that in the world that we live in right now. It's getting easy now for you, though. It's getting easier. This week is a chance to let it go. So lean on others and focus on the destination. Some of you may have already reached that pinnacle of pushing, and now it's like when you're riding a bike and you get to the top of a hill, you get to coast a little bit. So give yourself a chance to coast. I'd also love for you to do something to take some of that energy from the head space, from the crown chakra. She's a nice segue into what we'll be looking at soon with the special topic today. But to get out of that sort of, why do I have to carry all of this weight? You don't have to carry all of this weight. This is your opportunity to release and to go into something exciting and something new, okay? Other things that we want to look at with 10 of Wands for Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. What you do this week with respect to balancing responsibilities, resources, and expectations can either make or break the following week and following month. So with this, you can push back and say no. You can ask for help. You can delegate. You can do any number of things because there is a sort of hidden overwhelming energy with this. So if you push yourself too much, physically, it can show like problems with the back. In this card, it can also show cognitive pressure. So that pressure can also lead to things like, blood pressure and strokes, and we don't want any of that. So in the long term, looking at like 10, 20, 30 years, as we start to learn to manage our stress better and not take on the whole lion's share of everything, then life gets easier. We get to enjoy more. We get to empower people around us to be their best possible selves. So you've done more than enough. Focus now on enjoying today, realigning to what that purpose is, and just keeping on. Reach and move, and you're going to be okay, but you don't have to carry it alone anymore. And I think that's the main message for my water signs out there. And some of you just are such great empaths, right? You have this capacity to feel, to help other people feel, to help take some of their energy. So try not to absorb more than you need to. Try to let it go a little bit, and I think you're going to be so much happier, and you're going to empower people around you as well, and it's going to be good. Near completion, also, we're looking at some sort of opportunity or goal nearly being completed. This is the week it may be finished. This is the week that you'll start to see some change happen here. So just a quick review of everything that we saw right here. If we take a look at the table here, this was my message for fire. Again, yes, it is fire. So for fire signs, some of you might be feeling like you're the outsider looking in. Realize that people are interested in you for a reason, so you might find yourself like an unlikely social butterfly. Say yes. If there's a third party popping in and making you feel like you're less than, remember you're equal to or greater than, to use some mathematics. You deserve a seat at the table. Moving from fire to earth, again, a reminder, it's all about expansion. Some really exciting moves for you. The movement may scare you a bit because you feel open, exposed, and seen, but you've earned this opportunity, so embrace it. By all means, embrace it. Air signs here, great ideas, great energy, great opportunities. What are you going to do with that vitality? With water, it's the end of a phase. There's something new that's coming in. There's a chance for you to let go a little bit. Focus on what hopefully now will be the fun or the easy part, okay? So that was the elemental forecast. Again, fire, earth, air, and water. And there you go. That's the only portion here that's going to be sign specific. Looking again at our schedule today, we're going to now move along to a quick little mini viewer's choice, and then we'll get into the overarching spread. So for this, based on everything that I've seen so far, I want to kind of take a look at some things that you could vote on. Let me just pull out my keyboard here for a second, and we'll take a look at some things that we can talk about. So one thing that I was looking at when I was looking at the 7-day forecast that I think would be worthy of us discussing would be the Judgment card that was coming through for today. So this can really be about acceptance, accepting a new path or opportunity, right? I think that's a really powerful thing to look at. The other thing that I'm drawn to discuss would be what we were talking about with the 3 of Cups card. So it's kind of like the outsider looking in or / third parties, how to deal with them. And then the last thing that I want to look at, since we saw a lot of expansive energy, is to sort of like how to ease into expansion. It's very close to accepting a new path or opportunity, but I think this latter one is, how to take the first step. This is after you've accepted something. So let's go ahead and I'll give you guys a chance to vote on the viewer's choice. And remember, you can only vote once, you can only vote if it's live, and you can only vote if you're using a laptop or a mobile device. While you're doing that, I want to take a moment here and just do a reader's choice. For the reader's choice today, since we're focusing on really looking at how to open up your crown chakra, and I talked a lot about the wiring earlier, What I'd like to look at when I'm doing my Reader's Choice card is what can you do to effectively rewire or sort of like discover the important things. So what's blocked? Let's look at the series. Like if there's one light, depends on all the weaker lights. What's the weakest link? What's going on with that? So where's the weak link in your chakra system? Let's see what's going on. All right, so let me turn the camera down and we'll take a look at the cards and see the message here. All right, so we have the King of Pentacles here. I love this tortoise shell here. So in a lot of world religions and native cultures and mythologies, the turtle can represent the world. It's also very close to what we saw with the Ten of Wands card, where it was kind of balancing all that energy. But when we're looking at this, I'm really looking at the back. I would say for some of us, the heart, you can kind of go all the way through to the back, right? So I would say it's the heart, and it could possibly be the solar plexus. So basically 1, 2. So third and fourth chakras, I would say that's your passion and that's your power. And that's probably where the block is for some of you. Now, the cool thing with the King of Pentacles is divine masculine, paternal energy, money, resource, and opportunity. So for some of you, the power and the passion needs to find its way into the material as well. So what you're doing may not be feeding that part of your body. So you might just be having like a job for a job's sake, or you might be doing an obligation or an activity because it's expected, not because it's desired, not because you're being led to do it. So there's a chance to bring things that feed your heart and feed you as an individual of feeling stronger. That's going to also bring more money and more success. So if you love what you're doing and you love who you are, you're going to attract the resources. You are someone that people can lean on, but you don't have to let the whole world lean on you. A common message coming through. Also, just like the Nine of Pentacles, progress takes time, and we see the King of Pentacles as a tortoise here, as a symbol of not speed, but like slow and steady, just like the snail. And we see the shells here coming out of that shell, protecting yourself, having the redundancy. You're going to have to kind of like balance all of these things. But overall, it feels like finding some sense of happiness with whatever it is that you're doing in your day-to-day life is going to be really, really important. Okay? All right, let's take a look and see what's in the lead here. When I'm looking at the viewer's choice, we have a pretty clear winner by 56% in the lead here, accepting a new path or opportunity. So I'm going to end the poll. I think it's virtually impossible for that one not to win. I'll go ahead and shuffle the cards and make sure that something doesn't change while I'm doing that, but we'll assume that it's going to be about really accepting what's new. So let's see. So yes, accepting a new path or opportunity is what won, and let's see what the message is regarding that. All right, so we have the Page of Swords in reverse. Let's get a closer look at this card. So for this particular message, the important thing for you right now is to decide, how am I going to take some action on this and speak up? So the new path or opportunity probably is going to come with you needing to ask some questions. Sometimes when you get an assignment, let's go back to when we were kids in school. We don't always understand it, right? We might have to say, hey, teach, what's going on with this? I need a little bit more information. Why am I doing this? When is it due? What are the criteria here? Or simply saying, like, I don't understand this concept. So if you've been handed something new, in order to be set up for success, you first must understand. And if there's something that you don't like or know about something, put that out there as well. Particularly if this is an opportunity that you might be building for yourself. Let's say you have a chance to like write your own job description, then definitely speak up. Or if you're being asked to do something that you don't think is realistic, then say, I shouldn't be measured against this because it is physically impossible, or it's, maybe there's some other reason that you don't want to do something, and put that out there so that you have a chance, you have it on record. So edit, ask, revise, sort of negotiate if possible. All of these things are key. The other thing with the Page card reversed is, does the other party listen, and or are you listening? We've all been with people who just say, yeah, and they go and do something, but it it didn't sit in there. So you want to make sure that they heard you, and if they're talking to you and you're texting or worrying or looking at the clock, then you also owe it to them to be 100% in tune. So good communication involves active listening, and also for you as a speaker or a teacher or as a worker, it also involves sort of like validating that you heard what you heard. So when someone gives you a task, say, let me just make sure I heard this correctly. You want this and this by this time, and this is what I'm going to be measured on for success. People probably aren't used to being regurgitated, all of that, but it's important to sort of like put it back out there. And as a listener, you can also say, I hear what you're saying. You're frustrated about this. You also are really angry with this, and I think it's a valid concern. Here are my constraints. Maybe we can find a way to work through our feelings and our constraints and get to a good place. It isn't always that easy, but that's the ideal way to handle it. If you can use even like 10% of that, you're going to be more successful with a new opportunity. Okay? So welcome everyone. I know we're just getting a lot of people that are used to my normal time. Normally I never switch times, but I have a special family gathering today and I needed to sort of accommodate that. So occasionally I have a life too and I have to do stuff. So thank you for understanding. Again, it's a really great reminder before I get into the next portion to absolutely subscribe and opt into notifications. You won't miss me. I'm also going to be doing an impromptu tomorrow. It's in the early evening. So you're welcome to join. The time may fluctuate a little bit, but I think it's either 5:30 or 6. It's on my main page. But again, for impromptus, which are totally unannounced, you want to be a subscriber. It's a benefit. Subscribing costs absolutely nothing, and it only helps the channel. So I'm trying to encourage some folks to do that if they haven't, because I've seen a little dip, and if I don't get the subscribers, and I have to do other things outside of this that take me away from it. So let's keep the channel growing if you like what you see here. It's an easy way to support it. Same thing with a like, and same thing with a comment. Absolutely free, totally helpful to me. Biggest and best thing that you can do to show your support. You can also go here for reminders. You can also show some love here through super stickers and super chats, and I'll say thank you later. All right, back to the forecast. What we're going to now go into is what you chose. It's really like another viewer's choice, but you already chose it because I offer everyone a chance to vote on my community tab and on Patreon as well. So today you chose a really good topic, which is looking at the 7th chakra, focusing on. This is the 7th chakra. It's the crown. That's why I put a crown emoji. So what we were looking at just a few moments ago as a segue to this is that some of you have a block here and some of you have a block here. Power and passion may be getting in the way, and we're going to do what we can today to unlock that for you. All right, so let's get started. I may just choose a deck here because I want to make sure that we're flowing through on time. Let's see. I might just use Afro-Goddess deck here as well, or I know that a lot of you resonated with the initial deck, so I might just use Light Seers for today because it had really good energy. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm making an executive call to just use the Light Seers deck today because it just feels right for today. Okay, so let me give this a good shuffle and we're going to see what's coming through. If you just joined, you have perfect timing and you can catch the beginning portion later. This is always available on replay. So just stay with us if you joined here, and then you can recap and look at the 7-day forecast afterwards. And I always put the time codes in. Usually today, again, I have a little family brunch that I have to do, so it may be a little later. Don't get upset if I don't do it until the afternoon, but I always put it in there so you can come back and take a look at stuff. All right? All right. So we're looking at the 7th chakra, messages from your guides, messages from your higher self, and also kind of how to unlock that 7th chakra, which is really key to being your best possible you. All right. such beautiful energy coming through here too. And I'm actually really loving what we see here with career. I know some people may think, death, what's that about? It's nothing to be feared when we're looking at sort of opportunities, new opportunities. All right, for those of you asking about Apollo, let's see. He is so happily asleep behind me. He moved his bed and he's back there sawing logs in the background. All right, so let's begin with your catalyst card. A catalyst card is a way for you to really get into the maximum opportunity in the month ahead. This portion of the reading is timeless. So you can watch my special topics in any of the 30 or 40 weekend collectives that I've done over the past year and a half, and go back and they can be timeless, okay? Definitely it's in the energy of the month ahead and the week ahead, but whenever you're moving through and thinking, I have a block and I want to be more creative, you can watch this portion for sure. All right, so we have the creator card here. So we all are part of this. This is creator as in artist. This is also creator as in the power, the powers that be, right? So we are an active conduit and connection to the creative force that created everything around us. And what this is saying is when you are creative and artistic and expressive, when you are doing something that remembering, we're going to focus on the heart a little bit. When you're doing something that your heart really wants to do, you're closer connected to God in the universe. Because the one universal currency that we take with us, it's the only currency. We take lessons and experiences, but we take love with us. And when there's a abundance of love or a deficit of love in a life experience here in a relationship, that gets carried over. The balance gets carried over in the next lifetime. So that's where you have karmic abundance or sometimes debt. And so if somebody cheated, stole, or disappointed, we have to balance out the checkbooks there with them in a future lifetime, which is why it's better if we can do it in this lifetime to do it. The other party doesn't always want to do it. But anyway, when we're looking at creativity, this is something where you're always going to get more. So if you can just be yourself and create artistically, expressively, authentically, and when I say creatively, this counts if you're an engineer, by the way. So if you're an electrical engineer, if you're an architect, if you're in medicine and you come up with an innovation, that's creativity. You're creating something that wasn't. You're the magician. You're the high priestess. You're taking the elements. I see the magician as very alchemic. And then I see the high priestess as taking all of that and then even applying it even further. So that's really what this is saying. Find your magician, find your sorceress within, and do something cool with it. All right? For each of us, that's going to look different. So everybody's creative. Mathematicians are creative. Artists are creative. Everybody's creative. So you just have to find how to apply your vision, your dreams, and your passion. That will open up the heart. The heart then is going to flood through the other chakras and open it up. Your crown is going to get all these ideas because you're feeling inspired, right? Get the warm fuzzies. So do something artistic, do something creative. It's definitely well worth that experience. All right, let's take a look now at the next portion here. So at the center here, we have the 10 of Pentacles. Everything that I'm going to be looking at is how to connect to the 7th chakra. Some of you may have like this great sort of family lineage to intuition, because we see the family card, 10 of Pentacles, and we have the High Priestess, the card for psychic opening. We have her crown wide open. So do some of you have a great-grandmother, a father or a mother that are open? I know I did, but it wasn't always talked about. Some people shut it down in the family, for me anyway. So for those of you that do have this sort of opening, there's a chance for you to reclaim that mantle. If you're in a very conservative family, but you're that sort of person that sticks out, doesn't matter. It still probably runs in the lineage somewhere, and you're the first person maybe that's going to do something really exciting with that. One thing that I see with the 10 of Pentacles here is that it's, no matter how you slice it, it is about success. And you can find a chosen family. So if your actual family is closed-minded, is a little bit apprehensive when it comes to the metaphysical, when it comes to the new you, when it comes to whatever it is that you want to do, then this is the chosen family, and they're going to support you in a way that others couldn't. So find your tribe, find your friends out there that can be this sort of missing link if you want to, because there are a lot of other people that have the same energetic frequency that you do. And if somebody in your own circle of friends or family doesn't, it's kind of like what I was talking about earlier. It's the upgrade and the fact that some people are just not ready for it, right? So go ahead and keep vibing with that high frequency, because that's going to bring with it abundance, more abundance, okay? As we look at what's crossing this card, we have the Six of Pentacles. So you cannot be everything to everyone. You cannot do everything that's expected of you. If you do, you are cheating some of what other things are coming through. So if you have this internal feeling like, I can't do this job anymore, I can't marry this person, I can't be friends with this person, or this family member doesn't respect me or understand me, you don't have to make everybody happy. This card is making everybody happy. This card is saying, is it really worth it? Do they care about my greater good? Am I getting a return on this amazing investment of my lifeblood? And if you're not, then it's time to make some choices. And it's not always easy, right? Because it's more fun to be popular and liked. It reminds me of the musical Wicked, basically like the Wizard of Oz, but where we're seeing that song Popular, right? With the two different witches. It's not all that it's cracked up to be. And in that particular musical, the good witch wasn't as good as we thought, and the bad witch wasn't necessarily bad. She was misunderstood. So popularity and acceptance isn't all it's cut out to be. Sometimes when you do what's right, it's not going to be what's popular. And in the end of the day, though, you're going to have more time and energy by being unpopular but happy and successful than if you made everyone happy. So popularity isn't all that it's cut up to be. It could be pulling you away from doing what's right. So do what's right, and then reuse some of that time and energy that you were investing on trying to get acceptance and sort of like everybody's love, and do something amazing, okay? Reallocation of resources, super important no matter how you slice it when it comes to tuning in. Some of you just haven't made the time or haven't found the time and space and energy to basically focus on intuition. So it is a sort of cooperative thing where you're going to have to decide, this is important to me. I'm choosing to put more time into this and a little less time into this. Okay? Some of you have just been so successful with work or something else that, you've just been pulled into a different space. So you're going to have to find what you need, ask what you need, and reclaim that. Bring the balance, bring the scales here in the center, and make it work. Okay? We're going to look here in your deep past here, and then we have the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands, this is one of my favorite illustrations of this card because she marches to the beat of her own drum here. I'm going to pull the card upright so you can just appreciate the visuals, and then we'll talk a little bit about what it means. So Knight of Wands, upright position, or reverse position rather, is about sometimes having to be a little bit headstrong or stubborn because your idea, vision, or way of being is unconventional, because you don't want to get distracted on getting to the finish line because you just trust yourself. So it's okay. We see someone here, again, beating a figurative drum, but we see the lovely fire here and we see a wild steed in the background. So originality, unconventional approach, outspokenness, and sometimes just being bold is going to be really, really important to overall success. The only thing that you want to be mindful of when it comes to opening the 7th chakra, though, is that if you are too stubborn or set in your ways, you're missing an opportunity. So don't miss an opportunity. Focus instead on continuing to be expansive, continuing to have an open mind, and giving everything a shot, giving everything a taste, imagining that you are sampling some hors d'oeuvres and everything's an opportunity. So maybe you don't like it, but at least you tried it. So as long as you're keeping that openness and thinking, all right, I'll give this a try, you've done your due diligence there. All right. We already talked a great deal about Judgment, and Judgment and the Ace of Swords both made appearances here, so we'll talk more in a second. But with Judgment being in the recent past, what many of you have to sort of grapple with in this moment in time is, all right, if I really want to do this, if I really see myself in this reimagined self, the key to that success is choosing what you have to give something up. So there is a sacrifice. So are you willing and ready to kind of make that sacrifice and that trade-off? If you are, then what awaits you is amazing. It's manifestation, High Priestess. So I feel really good about the fact that this is in the crowning position and her crown is open and it's a card of psychic phenomenon and manifestation portends good things. I talked about this particular card before. If you look really closely, you'll see that her eyes are coming through the sort of eyeshadow and closed eyes here. So if we zoom in on the card here, you can actually see her eyes coming through. So you're going to, sometimes when you stop focusing on what's right in front of you, you're going to see beyond. You're going to see beyond the sort of facade or the expectations. So I think a big opportunity for you right now is to go back into, what are we talking about? Hope, faith, and imagination. These things are essential to you. They're not just in your head. They're coming down from your higher self. It's a download, and it's really about accepting that, yes, this is real. Yes, this is my calling. Yes, this is what I need to do. Because this is in the crowning position, many of you are choosing to do a path that is inspirational, that is educational, that is metaphysical, that is creative, that is not necessarily what's expected. Good for you. For the rest of you, if you haven't yet figured it out, and I think that probably is more than half of you, because whenever I don't really do one-on-ones anymore except for a few select return clients, but when I used to have open one-on-ones and I accepted bookings, a big portion of what I talked about with people was life purpose. They would say, I don't know what I want to do. What am I supposed to be doing? What is my purpose on this planet? And when we look at two of the most important cards here, the crowning position and then the outcome, both of them are about listening. She had to shut her eyes, close her eyes. That's why there's this overdone idea of the blind sort of seer in many mythologies and, science fiction movies. They'll show like a psychic with no eyes. We even see it in The Matrix, right? In the third movie, Neo is blind, but he can see. So what's in front of you isn't necessarily what is. You have to look beyond that. And so we see someone listening to the higher calling, and then we also see them kind of like with their ear chakras here, listening to what they're being told or what's being said in their head. So you've already got it. I just focus a little bit more. There are some, like back in school, there were prompts, writing prompts that we had. So there are some things that you can do that can kind of open up helping you with this. And if I were to give you some homework assignments here, I would say, think about what makes me happy. Like, what is it that makes you happy? What, if you had a free day, would you do more of? If you had the capacity to walk into your boss's office and say, this is what I want my job to be, what would that job look like? If you were the only person left on earth, how would you be spending your time? Like, just think about, really, time is finite. This lifetime is not going to last forever. When you go to the other side and look back and soul review at what you've done, take what could be also a regret and make it a goal. Right now, do you have a regret? Do you wish you could have said something? You could have done something? Do you wonder what would have happened if you could have tried something? Put that on your bucket list. And then compare it to some of the other things, dreams and hopes and fun activities, and you're going to be able to find what you're supposed to be doing. You already know it makes you happy. What makes you happy? That's what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? I know that sounds oversimplified, but it's not really. I enjoy writing. I enjoy reading. I enjoy helping people. I'm curious. I like metaphysics. All this stuff kind of came together into what I'm doing now. And it continues to evolve, and it will for you too. Okay? Trust. Trust is so important. When you start to open up psychically, and we really did get an affirmation that many of you are trying to open up psychically, this is the number one block. I know even for me, when I was starting to open up, I was like, well, can I trust where the information's coming from? Do I trust that I'm intuitive? Do I trust people around me that I can tell that I'm going through all of these things? You and you alone are going to be able to sort out the trust issues that might be coming through with this. But trust, with all of the other cards here, I would say this is the most important thing. It is in the near future, and it's what many of you are going to have to deal with. The trust can also just be like, I know I need to do this. I just have to trust that this is going to work out. You already have a great support system, many of you around you. So just, if you don't trust yourself, you bet you're going to actually pull in the Seven of Swords character. So let's look at him real quick. This is someone who tries to get away with something. This is someone who tries to test you. This is also someone who like calls out and basically throws you under the bus. So trust your instincts if you think that person isn't someone that I trust. If you really think you should be working with someone, trust that as well. That's a good sign. When it comes to can you trust your visions, yes, do what I do. You can go and look at, like I think I did it last week, and I've done it in a few signs recently, but one of the single best things that you can do before you do a reading is set intentions. So you'll see behind me, 4 candles there, 1 candle there. I usually dedicate that one to source, and then I usually pull in guides on that one, archangels or ascended masters, or a simple intention. Today, I intend to connect with the highest energy in the universe, God or higher. I intend to receive messages that are solely beneficial, that do not have any sort of hidden meanings in them other than this is what I need to be focusing on. You can make it blatantly clear when you connect to source. And you can say I actually just watched the Discovery of Witches or whatever, and there's a really cool spell that one of the witches does in that story where she says there's no room for darker energy here, no room for evil. So yeah, just say that. Say, I'm only looking to connect to the light. It was very close to my own practice of intuitive connecting. I'm not a witch, but I'm an intuitive. So basically I say I'm only, and it's potato, it's all energy and magic. So we get stuck up on words and we shouldn't. I just intend to connect to the highest energy of the universe. So you can say that in anything that you want to do, whether it's a prayer to God in a traditional organized religion, whether it's you working with tarot cards or you working with magic. It's all energy. It's all extra sensory sort of potential and perception. And so you just want to set the intention. If you do that, you're not going to have to worry. Okay? So set your intention and trust yourself. Easy peasy. I say easy peasy, but it is. Once you start doing it, every single time, it will become part of you. I can light the candles in like 1 minute if I need to. I try not to rush through it though, because my guides have told me that the more I can kind of open up with appreciation, it's better. So before each candle, especially the 4 behind me, if I say to the angels in particular, thank you for always being here even when I didn't know you were here. Especially this angel for helping with this. Help me today to do this. Thank you for hearing my prayer. Thank you for helping me be the best version of myself so that I can help others. That is more powerful than bring it on, light the candle. You got to like really think of the higher good when you're doing anything. That'll help you. One last thing with this, if someone shows their true side, trust it. So if they come through and I've said this before, but if they say, I don't think I'm the right person for the job, or you're too good for me, or they just show in behavior that they're not your advocate, trust it. And wait for them to show up otherwise, because they've showed their true colors and sometimes they try to warn us. That makes Apollo say, yes, we don't need to do that. You're digging up your own hole if you're doing that. So digging yourself into a hole rather, so don't do that. All right, let's move on to what's going on with you right now that can kind of help with this. We see the Knight of Cups here, which also came through. What kind of offering are you putting out there? I just talked about this. And an offering is not just sort of some candles on an altar. It's also like what I'm doing here on Sundays. It's a sort of community offering. So it's a chance for me to spend some time with you. I get a lot back from it. I feel so much better afterwards because I'm able to help you, and it elevates my energy and my mood. And so I actually receive a boon of energy too. It costs a bit of energy and time, but it's also worth it. So what are you doing to help the world? What are you doing to help others? What's your offering? What's the sort of like higher good? I would say this is so important when you're working with the angelic realm and the ascended masters. Do you have a greater purpose on the planet? Is there something kind of artistic and creative with that higher purpose? When you connect with that, when you're doing things for others, guess what comes in? Abundance. It's a nice segue to the King of Pentacles here. So what I see with this is heart-centered approach, the Knight of Cups here. King of Pentacles, then resources start to come in. I'm actually not worried about you being supported at all if you're trying something new, if you're opening up to a new path, right? The only thing that's going to get in the way is disbelief, distrust, being too closed-minded. Those are the only ones here, or maybe having a lack of ability to kind of step into the new path, which we'll talk about in the center. One thing that I really like about the King of Pentacles is this is divine masculine, paternal energy, feeling at home. Also, we can see sort of a little bit of loyalty here. Always makes me think of my little guy in the background, which he continues to move his bed around. It makes me laugh. By the end, he'll be at the other side. But anyway, sometimes it's not about numbers. We see two individuals there, two souls there. And I think that's really what we're looking at for you is sometimes less is more. This is more, and sometimes more is just too much. And this is about kind of putting a sieve through the process and saying, that was nice, that was then, this is going to be what's discerning. And it's almost like, I forget what you call that sort of cone-shaped thing, but less and less and less. It's an inverted pyramid, basically. So you're going from having way too much to a little bit less to just getting back into the core here. And he's holding an ace basically in his hand. So I think some of you just need to be willing and ready to embark on something new, because a King of Pentacles can take an ace and make it a 10. And the interesting thing in numerology is a 10 reduces to a 1. You add all the numbers together. So like you do 1 plus 0, it's a 1. So to the king, it's all the same. I got an ace, I got a 10, it doesn't matter, it's the same. He's understood that. He's already moved through all the experiences of life before. So know that you have the Midas touch, that you have the ability to make things grow and go in the direction that you want them to. Okay? All right, so let's look at hopes, fears, and opportunities. And appropriately enough, we have the Two of Swords coming through as a fear-based card. Let's look at her closely. This one has to do with the other people around you, the fears that others have tethered to you. You can't do this. You're too this or too that, or not enough this or not enough that. Oftentimes it is a sort of attached to beauty, age, experience, culture, religion, whatever. There's something there that they're like, we need this, not that. And that's their perception. And a lot of times when you basically go contrary to the status quo, that's when things get really exciting and memorable. So that's their own lack of vision, not yours. Because the answer to the Two of Swords is the High Priestess. She sees beyond the blinders. You already know what to do. There may be two paths in front of you, and both have sort of like pros and cons. There's one that your heart wants a little bit more. Go for that one. At the end of the day, that's really what's the important thing here, okay? And then write it, speak it, do it. Kind of like possibly in that order. Bring some action to this. The act of automatic writing is so important. Now, I've moved from writing it to typing it. It works pretty much the same way, but just like when I was writing my book, I typed that out, but it was all a channeled energy. But dictating it is fine as well. Just get a way to kind of download what's here into something else, okay? Super important. Thank you so much, by the way, to everyone that's giving back with Super Chats and Super Stickers. It really does help, and it shows me that you're connecting to this, so I appreciate it. I'll say thank you at the end, individually. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the expanded portion of this forecast. So again, we're right now in the special topic, the Celtic Cross. I'm going to expand this Celtic Cross to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Each of these is multi-part. The health card is going to look at mind, body, and spirit. Whenever I talk about things like health, I like to disclaim that I'm not a doctor. And of course, if we're looking at anything here, it's really about opportunities and choices in front of you. So if you need help, ask for help. I'm a tarot reader, and I'm going to look at what's coming through with respect to energy. So as we're looking here at the health card, we have this beautiful, to me, it's kind of a combination card here. I'm looking at what almost looks like that phoenix rising from the ashes, and I also see a torch that they're carrying. So this is, you could see it as a dragon or a phoenix, and then also, again, this sort of torch of insight. There's a character in A Christmas Carol, and I think it was the Ghosts of Christmas Past. It's the first one that he sees, where her crown is just light. Very, very intuitive of Charles Dickens, right? He's the one that wrote that, to kind of come up with that imagery for the crown chakra. Some of my teachers, spiritual teachers, have kind of reminded me to look back at old icons in churches, and their opinion, and I kind of like this, is that humanity once had the ability to see the auric fields around other humans. And so when they painted a saint or someone that was holy, they put that nimbus, which is the fancy word for the halo or the disc around their head, because it was there, they could see it, and they didn't question what they saw then. We've since fallen asleep a little bit intuitively, and this is about that awakening. And they actually showed that again in that same show that I'd just been watching, where they had someone and you could kind of see the aura. The aura is very subtle. I've seen mine a few times. I don't see them all the time, but a couple of times it's been when I've awakened, and sometimes it's just 1 or 2 millimeters above the surface. It's not always wide out there. Sometimes, especially if you're sleeping, it's going to be a little bit closer in. And I could see like blue and green energy, which made sense because I have a very open heart and big on communication. Depends on what I'm doing. Like right now, there may be a lot of indigo, or there might be a lot of violet, or there might be a lot of silver energy because I'm downloading a lot. But your auric field changes over time. But you can see it. And I've also seen someone that was a musician playing, and as the musician was playing the drums, I saw this blue energy coming out of his hands, and I could kind of see the energy coming out of the drums. So because then it followed the sound wave. So it was here, and then it went through the sound wave. It was kind of trippy. So auric field and energy fields can actually sometimes then go and be transferred to other things, which is why objects can hold energy after someone passes. All of this being said, you may start to notice things about people that you didn't before. When we're looking at the health card, you could look at someone and just get a physical read and think, wow, this person's in trouble, or they're having a hard time. Or I've gotten strange things before. Like I knew if someone was getting engaged or pregnant or needed my referral for a job, I just kind of tell. I saw a picture of them or I saw their name, and I knew that there was something attached to that associated with the things that I just said. So you may be able to read a person the same way in the antiquity that people could see people and also see the energy. So listen to the subtle messages that your body is picking up on, whether it's visual, audio, or feeling it empathically. And that's going to be important. It's going to help you rise above or transform a situation, okay? Let's specifically look at some of the health messages here just in what's in front of us. So right literally in the heart of the spread it's all about balance. So I think the important thing for you is to find maybe a better balance than you had in the past. I also think that as we're looking at eyes and ears, sometimes what you are receiving internally is going to be a lot more accurate than what someone's saying. So if they say, it's okay, but you know it's not okay, or they say, I love you, but it feels like I hate you, then I want you to trust that something else is going on. There's something beneath the surface. It may not be up to you to fix that, by the way, but just trust your intuition, because you are done with the 7 of Swords. This doesn't have to happen. This is the chance to release this cycle. We're right on the precipice of a new moon. We're still in retrograde. So this is a perfect time to let this stuff go, because by the time the new moon hits, again, I'm doing an impromptu tomorrow so we can focus on the new moon then. But by the time the new moon hits, let's focus on something new. Let's get that stuff out of there, right? Enough with that, okay? I think that those are the main energies to focus on, and just to be accountable to yourself, because a lot of times the 7 of Swords is the little tiny half-truths that we tell ourselves. Sure, I'll do this, or maybe I'll try this, but we know at the end of the day we're going to have a hard time probably doing what we need to do. So I want you to be honest with yourself and start something when you're truly ready. If someone around you is refusing to listen, accept, or be who they need to be, or let you be who you need to be, you've got to move beyond that as well. They are stuck in the past, and they're trying to keep you in the past too. So this is a time for you to advance and move on. All right. But you're already seeing and hearing what you need to. Just trust in that. Let's go ahead now and move on to the next card. We're moving into one that I actually saw as auspicious before I even knew that you were going to have really positive resource cards. We have the Death card, and it's coming through in wealth. And some of you are thinking, Nicholas, are you sure death in career is good? Yeah, because it's change. And if we look at what the card says here, it says, I'm learning that endings are merely beginnings. Amen to that. In the book that I have behind me, the Luminous Ones, is one that I wrote. One of the main characters in the book is death or transformation. And basically, if we don't transform, if we don't change, if we don't stop something, then we never truly grow or graduate onto the next thing. So graduation is a fancy word for transformation. So if you graduate from high school, then you're once upon a time, that was it. You graduate into life. But then we added some of the other things. You could get a specialized degree. You could do training. But there's different types of graduation or events. You start a job, you quit a job. You start a relationship, you end a relationship. You build a house, you sell a house. We're always ending and beginning. It doesn't mean that we're dying. It just means that that's a closing of a chapter. So you're at the nexus of an end and a beginning when it comes to career. And as we look at this nexus for you, you're being guided. And what's right by the catalyst card is right by this crowning card, listening to the higher self. This is about creativity. So you need to feel creatively connected and committed to the path in front of you in career. Some of you may say, but I'll have to sacrifice this, or this. Remember, an ace is also a 10 to a king of pentacles. So he's not so worried about this. You have to look at scalability in what you're doing. Sometimes when we do less, we can do it better. And when we do it better, it's actually more effective and there's actually more money or there's more opportunity associated with it. So look at scaling, look at the allocation of resources and the return on your sort of energetic investment. One thing that it definitely looks like you want to move away from here is more low morale or people that refuse to hear and see you. So if you are in a group, whether it's friends, family, or work, and they don't listen to you, or they are sneaky, or they consistently come through in a way that is inauthentic, yeah, it's enough now. So there is an ending, but with every ending comes a beginning. And in the environment, we see someone who's totally invested in you and totally ready for you and is loyal, as we see with this lovely, a husky dog there. So you can do this. You can do this. You can navigate through this. Also, you're going to have so much more mental real estate now that you're not dealing with this and with this. Okay? So more creativity, less drama, investing wisely, and it's not just about the immediate return, it's about how you know it's going to look down the road. You have to have a vision for what it looks like 5, 7 to 10 years from now as well. If you have that, you're going to be great. Change is the number one thing that's going to be important for you. Now, we're talking about the chakras here, and we're talking about energy. So there could be something in your life that you lose. NDE, near-death experience, can also be a lovely conduit for, lovely may not be the right word, but it is really an amazing conduit for opening up. So sometimes when we lose someone, they come and visit us. Sometimes if we almost have a close call with death, that awakens channels within us, wiring within us, electrical sort of connections that were dormant. So what we really see here is an activation for you. And even if it comes in the form of one of these close calls, it's still a blessing, and you can use that now to make better decisions with the time that remains, right? So that's the message there. Let's go ahead and move on to, we looked at health and wealth, let's look at love. All right, so some of you have a Taurus coming in. We have the cow spirit. It says, the miracles are endless. The cow is a really holy symbol too. So it can be the symbol of life, right? Because of the milk that the cow produces. It's a holy symbol. It's also Taurus. And so some of you, there could be a lovely Taurus coming in. You may also have Taurus like I do in placements. And this is going to say that where that placement sits for you, you're going to need to focus a little bit more. So I'm Taurus moon. I'll have to look at some of my fears, some of my dreams, some of my personal relationships and work on that. If you have it in your sort of like ascendant place, it could be focusing on really putting your energy in work. And your sun, it might just be about personal development. Again, you can apply it to any aspect of your chart. But if you have Taurus in your chart, then definitely focus on that. For the rest of you, to me, the cow is a symbol of abundance. And what do I see? Growth and abundance. And it says miracles are endless. You actually have a chance right now to make something better. And so the miracle piece means that it's stagnating, it's broken. Maybe that people have shut off. This is saying, well, I'm not shut off, and that's their choice, and I'm not going to sit in this energy anymore. I'm going to have a great day, I'm going to have a great life, and I'm going to do my best to focus on people that do want to receive, people that do respect me. And if we do kind of use the bullish energy, because cows are all, there's also bulls there. So there's the beautiful divine feminine, which is all focused on, giving back and nurturing. But then there's the divine masculine, which is like, I'm a force to be reckoned with. We get to use both. We're not just one. I'm so sick of gender identity being kind of just one. I had someone unfollow me the other day because I had like a pink shirt on, and I thought, seriously, are we that far back that you're gonna unfollow because of color choice? That's almost as base as like skin color. And I thought to myself, that's fine. So we have divine masculine, divine feminine energy. You get to use both this month. So you get to nurture and you get to stand up for yourself, and you get to push through, and you can just forget about those other people, because that's a blessing also when people reveal their true colors, or the color blindness, right? It's all crazy. Let's look at how this is going to play out in relationships real quick. And let's look at why it's kind of coming through in the focus of, the crown chakra. Crown chakra is knowing what's best for you, right? Okay, so we're going to look at it in 3 different perspectives. I like to start off with those of you that are in relationships. So let's look at how the cow spirit connects to relationships, connects to the crown. So what I'm looking at for some of you is a relationship has played its course. Whether it's friend, family, or otherwise, we have the judgment card. We have that bond, that familial connection, but then we see either disappointment, betrayal, deceit, dishonesty, or not listening, not watching, not connecting, closing you out. And there's a decision here. I don't need to do that anymore. I don't need to be involved in that energy anymore. I'm going to take this and I'm going to call in higher energy. I'm going to accept the love and abundance that's coming through. I'm going to use my brain power for something better. So for some of you, this is just moving on. Plain and simple. If you're going to move through a tricky situation because maybe there is the bond of blood, then the other person isn't quite ready yet. And you're going to, again, focus on other things, and you're going to keep an open and welcoming space. But you don't have to fix everything. You are an electrician, but if the house is falling apart, that's not your problem. That you got to get a construction person there for that. So you do what you can do, and then you focus on something else. And sometimes things have to fall apart before they get better, okay? But no matter where you're at in relationships, you're going to be able to sort this out. And there is someone in the surroundings here that really cares about you. So forget about this and focus on this. And that would be my advice for that. If you're looking for love in relationships, I really think that making sure that you pay attention to the signs is key. There's a potential to pull in someone that tests you, but there's someone, again, much, much better. Looks like it is an earth sign here based on what we see with the King of Pentacles. Maybe someone a little bit older based on the illustration as well. You have possibly 2 different offerings here because we also have cups, but I'm looking at the environment a little bit stronger. I think this is more indicative of you and being open to what's coming in. Could be a happy surprise. You could also be thinking, I'm not good enough for this person. Why would they like me? Get that stuff out of your head and think to yourself, you know what? I am manifesting my own future. I am powerful. I am deserving of love and abundance in the highest forms. And for this love and abundance to come through, I need to trust it. I need to embrace it. I'm going to take on that mantle and do that, okay? Because you totally earned it. But the disbelief could pull it into a different position. You have a lot of obligations right now. Everybody seems like they're busy, so you can't say yes to everyone. You have to trust in what's right and wrong. If you're single and happy, or just not really focusing on relationships, look at all this creative energy that's coming through right here with the Creator, with the High Priestess, with the Knight of Cups. Creative, creative, creative. And this is productive. And this is people that want to invest in you. And this is you being discerning because you want to make sure that you trust. So I see great energy around business. People are definitely vibing with your energy. Just make sure that you are vibing with them as well and that this feels really good for you. Okay? Let's go ahead and look at the last card. I'm just going to pull this one up. This is your Destiny card. And I love that we have this fierce tiger coming through for this particular card and kind of like this lovely outer space starry night behind it. So boldness, speed, and strength is a part of what awaits you. Don't be afraid to sort of like take control. I think of any feline energy, whether it's a cat or any of the big cats on the planet, you know, like a lion or a cheetah or a lynx, all those fun animals. Things that they have in common: they're fast, they're great hunters, they have keen sense of sort of like sight and sound, and they're very attuned. So I want you to use your sort of cat-like instincts and bounce back. And even think of like I've seen a neighbor's cat tumble over the sort of railing, and it lands on its feet a little bit. And it's a little, okay, what happened? But it always lands on its feet. You're going to land on your feet. You're going to be able to see what's coming, and you're going to be able to pick up the speed and the pace, especially when and if you decide to connect with the downloads that you're receiving with the High Priestess here. Okay? Really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. So I like where you're headed. I like what I'm seeing here for you. Let's go ahead and get a big idea card before we get into the final portion of today's reading. So the big idea. This is an attempt to pull everything together. How does this all fit neatly and nicely into one package? Let's see if there's a message here, and it's really the answer to the question, how do I open my 7th chakra, and what are the messages from my guides? No pressure, just one card. Wow, this is so powerful, and it even resonates for me for some stuff too. I totally get it. So we have, with the big idea, we have the 10 of Swords here. This is a card of walking the higher path. Someone in your life may not be capable of doing this. You're going to have to do it. They may also they may also be choosing to avoid a conflict because they've moved on. Sometimes when the fuse is spent, it is spent, and that's okay. Like if a bridge has tumbled down, you're better off sometimes for that, because maybe what's on that other side is not worth it. You've learned everything that you needed to learn, and they came through as a teacher, just a divine teacher, to help you understand your limits. Knowing what you don't want, knowing what isn't good for you, knowing that this person, place, or thing, it can be symbolic with the 10 of Swords, is just not worthy of your energy. I think that is the most valuable thing, because when I'm looking at the center with the 10 of Pentacles, I really do feel like there's a better use of your time and energy. And so this is an encouragement for you, to focus on what you can do with that time and energy, and how you can feel a lot better about that. So what we see here, and what's inspirational here, is that she's made a decision to just walk her own path, try something different. And there may be these crows or ravens cawing in the background, but she's like, yeah, I've been there, done that. I know the ending to that movie, and we're not going to repeat that. Okay? Stay in the higher path, move on, and you can rebound from this situation. No matter how deflating or challenging or whatever it might have seemed, you can move on from that. Ultimately, this is a very optimistic 10 of Swords, because it shows recovery, rebirth, a new day. She's not mortally wounded like we normally see in the 10 of Swords. She avoided that. She said, nah, I'm not going to do that. I've learned. I'm going to focus on something better. Simply put, also, this is a focus on mental and physical health and things in your life that bring about that. So you don't have to get to the 10 of Swords to understand the lesson of it, which is sometimes pain is just pain. It can always teach us, but it's not the only teacher on the planet. So you're choosing a path that doesn't involve pain, right? So I approve of that path. It looks like there are better days ahead, sunnier days ahead, and you're going to be able to move past whatever challenge is going on. Choose the higher path. Don't go into the low frequencies. Absolutely important. So there we go. Let's go ahead and quickly kind of recap on where we're headed next. So if you just joined a little bit late, don't worry. I know I started earlier today. We're just getting ready to wrap up, but don't go away, because we have two important things left. I always like to end the reading with a final card. So that's going to be the last thing that I look at. And the final card will be a chance for me to answer a silent question that you have. Before that, we'll do a meditation and a sound bath. And today I'm going to try to help you open up the 7th chakra, as well as balance out the energy in the solar plexus and the heart, since that's what came up. That's what's going to help you be strong. And One other thing that I'm thinking of doing, and I might include these in the monthlies or maybe my impromptus, especially for members, Patreon supporters in particular, I'm going to open up more opportunities for Q&As, and I'll probably just put a question at the end that I answer from some of you. So we'll see where I intersperse it. Impromptus may be the better place for that, but more to come. It's something that I will put into February. So let's go ahead now and get ready for meditation. A couple of quick notes. As I said earlier, to make sure that you never miss a future reading, go ahead and click the bell icon too. I should add it to this visual, but like, subscribe, and click that notification option so that you know if I go a little bit earlier like I did today. Apologies to anyone that joined late. You can catch it right when we finish and basically see what we started with today. Remember, subscribe doesn't cost anything. It's just the equivalent of follow, so please do click that if you can. You can also follow me on social media. Special thanks already to some of you that gave back. I saw it, but I didn't want to interrupt the flow too much. I'll say thank you individually when I'm finished, and my schedule's on my website. So I'm going to give you a chance to vote for what instrument I'm going to play, and then we're going to get set up for this meditation, and then be thinking about what your final question is. I did my best to answer everything today, but I'm sure all of you have one more question, so write it down, and then I'll answer it afterwards. So I have 2 instruments that I can use: crystal pyramid and a sound bath. I'm sorry, singing bowl. So you can tell me which instrument you would like. All right, so I went ahead and put those options out there for you. And now let's get ready for the meditation. All right, so a reminder here that the meditation is going to be a chance for us to kind of like release some of these old energies, and then I'll look into that final card. All right, so for this, as I'm looking at everything in front of me, I really like the energy of this, of the cow and the tiger. But for the purpose of this, we're going to use the sunflowers that I see on this, or the daisies that I see on this beautiful cow spirit card. So maybe you can see the cow in the distance, the tiger as well. These are your sort of totems today. And then as you walk through this field of sunflowers or daisies, whatever you like better, I want you to imagine that you could just gently start to touch the tops of the flowers. And as you do that, kind of like the gold that you see in my jumper here, you start to see this beautiful gold energy enter into your heart space, absorbing it through your arms and into your heart. So just imagine that you are touching the flower tops. You can even then, if you'd like, you can open up to the sun above you. And so maybe like the magician, one hand on the daisy, one hand towards the sun, accepting that energy from both, this beautiful yellow energy, so that it comes in through the crown, comes in through the heart, it comes in through your arms, and all you feel is this warmth, and anything that is in your body that has been holding you back begins to melt a little bit, particularly in the heart center. Take a deep breath with me so that you can really feel the effects of this energy going into your body. Exhale. Imagine with each exhale, you can see a puff of smoke coming out until breath by breath, it's absolutely clear. The puffs of smoke are all of the old stuff that karmically has built up inside your body and your energy system. We're cleaning the circuitry and the pipes and the energy. And then pull some of that, also that fire from within your belly. And imagine now that it goes from clear to you being like a dragon, breathing out the orange and yellow energy that you're absorbing from the daisies and from the sun. And if you feel so inclined, imagine that you could transform into a golden dragon, beautiful, bright gold. Gold is the sun. And take this dragon for a flight around the planet. Enjoy this freedom. You are free to decide. You are free to act on your intuition. You are free from the shackles of the past and the energy that has been holding you down. It's your chance now to take this free will and do something fantastic with it. Continue to enjoy this visual as I play this crystal pyramid, which won in the poll, and just enjoy the sound bath, and then we'll regroup and look at the final card and final question. Allow yourself to find your way back to your body, carrying with you that beautiful energy from the golden dragon. Feeling now that you have the strength and the capacity to basically bring into fruition any dream, any wish, any desire. Adding your own dream, your own final sort of magical element to it. I like to always say I'm ready for love and abundance in the highest forms. You can add something similar to that as well as you come back into your body. Rub your hands together. Put the hand on your heart center. You can also put it on your solar plexus if you want to. You can put one on each if you're still trying to balance them out. And just imagine a beautiful equilibrium as you're doing that. And let's think about your final card, which I'm going to read now. Final card is something that you think mentally. Don't type it out. I don't want to be influenced by your question. You can talk about it after I pull the card. Just focus on what your question is. And I'm going to pull a card based on that, and we'll go from there. All right, we have the Eight of Wands card for your final card, which is a very positive energy. This is basically an opportunity for you to remember you are not alone. Although you don't see the other people in this card, there are other people holding each and every one of those wands. Success is something that does not have to be a solitary path for you. So this to me, for those of you that might be in a small business, for instance, this is a very good card for upcoming work or orders or business. That's great. For those of you that are embarking on a new opportunity, you might feel like you're getting lost in the shuffle, but you're doing better than you think. Just check in with the people around you. I'm really happy with sort of the general trajectory of your energy. It looks like it's good. This is a card of success overall. The card in reverse is just showing that the success could be overwhelming for you. It's not as obvious as the Six of Wands, where people are giving you day-to-day accolades. You're just kind of like so busy that you're not seeing that you're doing a good job. So take a moment today and see the success, celebrate that success, and hopefully you can do something amazing with it. The only potential negative with this, again, is that if you get too wrapped up in everything, you could lose focus, you could lose appreciation, something like that. So just grounding yourself is going to be really important. But overall, this is a very positive card. It would be a yes to a yes, no. The only thing here that you want to remember is that you can delegate, you can push back. That was the lesson that you had with the Seven of Wands, was pushing back. So the Eight of Wands, you still have that capacity. And Wands is good. You can always, the suit of Wands is good, I should say, because you can always go back and still be successful. So you can do less and do it better if you want to. So focus on what matters. I think that's going to be the most important thing. And keep on keeping on. This is going back into the energy of the 7th chakra. Time, practice, and consistency is what's going to open that. And as long as you keep working on that, you're going to see some progress. Okay. I hope you enjoyed today. I know I certainly did. Definitely helped me. I always feel better after this, and I hope it did the same for you. I'm going to be back live tomorrow. The schedule's on my website. So I'll be doing an impromptu in the evening. And later today, I'll announce the schedule for the next month. But I can already tell you I'll be live on Thursday and Friday for Aries and Taurus. And then I'll have another collective next weekend. And then same old schedule. So today was one of the few days that I changed times, and I see some people joined late. So apologies. Normally I'm always at 9 Pacific. But again, go ahead and make sure, if you haven't done so before, this is a great time to do that, to make sure that you subscribe and get those notifications. I also always put reminders on social media. And yeah, that's everything for today. I'm going to give some thanks here in just a moment to all of you that joined and became a member or gave back and did a super sticker. So let me go ahead and get ready for that. So first of all, thank you. Oh, here we go again. I was trying to share the screen, but my thanks button is different. Let me see if I can get it on the other one. Anyway, I'm just going to verbally say thanks, and I have to fix that pretty good. Always one little technical flaw here. Let's see. Yeah, it's not going to allow me to do it. All right, so let's just say thanks here. Give me one moment here, and I'm going to connect with the membership. All right, so for membership today, anybody that's a new member in the last day or so, let's see what is coming through. Okay, so I would like to, first of all, just begin by saying, if you're a longtime viewer, thanks for being with me. I've been doing this over 7 years, and I know a lot of you have been with me all the way through it, so thank you. And especially for those of you that are longtime Patreon or membership supporters here, thank you. If you're brand new, I hope you stick around and join me again. To the new members that joined today, I'd like to say thank you and welcome to, let me get my glasses on to make sure that I say it correctly. We have Bai Kamara, thank you so much, I appreciate that. ML Champion, Michelle Buckoff, thank you. And then welcome back to Nicolina, thank you. Welcome back to K-Trail, sorry about that. Dina, welcome back. Once in a Blue Moon, welcome back. And I think the rest of these I actually welcomed the other day. So much appreciation. Good to have you all here again today. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead, and I'd like to say thanks to a few people that have given with Super Stickers or Super Chat today. And give me a moment to just go through this list. All right, it's good to see a lot of folks giving back. I appreciate it. Helps me continue to do this. And like I said, I'm on the precipice of launching the podcast, so I'll put some of this into that endeavor as well. All right, kicking things off today was Melanie Schaefer. I appreciate you. Let's see, Mimi Montano next. Thank you very much, especially for the 20. I appreciate it. Sita Marley, Anita Day, Raulu 15, Yas, good name, Lynette S. Let's see, is it Cecily, I think? Cecily 5, thank you. Charlene Fox, big thank you for the 50. I appreciate that. Beth Ann Shannon, Ambika, thank you so much. Susie S. Tracy Shoemaker, thank you. Kathlis L. Rose Miller, thank you again for the 20, much appreciation. Cindy Toshik, Kathy Aram, Shayna Riley, Angela Whitty, I think, I hope that's it. I'll just say Angela, thank you. Octavia Doherty, thank you very much. Missy Kavanaugh Carrier, or I hope that's how you say it. Thank you very much. Wendy Wright, Catholics again, appreciate the second one. Lucy Rodriguez, Shelly Chubb, thank you so much for the 27, I appreciate that. Sarah Young, Robin Redman, Catholics again, thanks again. KLR, Holly Reed, big thanks for the 50. And I'm glad that you're just brand new, so welcome. It's good to have you here. Jeannie Davis, Ingrid Bergman, Mallory Hutchinson, thank you so much. Let's see, Sanita, Elro, Heather Freeman, Yvette Sanchez. Good to see a bunch of familiar names here too, so thank you. Chioko, Catholics again, thank you for the multiples. Angela Kirk, Michelle Baxter, Gabby Fissler, I think it is. Jeannie Hart again, thank you. Crystal McKnight, Sheila, Mallory Hutchinson. Let's see, Sheila again, thank you so much for the 2, and thank you for the 250s. Very generous of you, I appreciate that. EP and Sheila again, you're a rock star actually, Sheila, thank you for the 3 in a row. Everybody, I appreciate it no matter what the donation was. It actually helps a lot. I put it back into equipment, into doing new videos, and also into buying new cards. And that's something I'll probably put up to kind of ask you some questions about what new decks you'd like to see me work with. So all of your contributions allow me to do what I'm doing. So big love from me to you. I really appreciated and enjoyed today's. Thank you to both Maria and Dakota for their help with moderation. And I will see everybody again for an impromptu tomorrow, and again later this week to kick off the March readings, because we're already going into the next month. Hard to believe. All right, until then, lots of love and light to everybody, and take care of yourselves. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of your weekend and a great month ahead. I only see some good things for you. All right, take care. Bye-bye.